All right, so in this video, I'm going to cover the coordinate plane. This should be something that you've already seen in your previous work, but let's refresh our memory and go over it again. So remember, a coordinate plane goes infinitely in all directions, and it's made up of two axes, one that's vertical and one that's horizontal. So your horizontal axis is your x-axis. And your vertical axis is your y-axis. Okay? And think of them like two number lines crossing. And right here in the middle where they cross is called the origin. So remember how your number lines go. This direction is positive. This direction is positive. This direction is negative numbers, and this direction is negative numbers. Okay? Two number lines crossing like an X. Now, they split up your coordinate plane into 4 quadrants. So this is quadrant 1. This is quadrant 2. Oops, that's supposed to look like a Q. This is quadrant 3. And this is quadrant 4. All right. Now remember, if the purple lines are the positives, in quadrant 1, you're going to have a positive and a positive. In quadrant 2, you're going to have a negative and then a positive. In quadrant 3, you're going to have a negative and a negative. In quadrant 4, you're going to have a positive and then a negative. Why is that? Well, because every point on this coordinate plane is made up of an X and a Y. So it's made up of a point from the X-axis and then a Y-axis. Okay? Now, right here where the green line is touching the Y-axis, this is called a Y-intercept. In other words, it's crossing the Y-axis. Intercept. So here, where the red line is crossing the blue line on the X-axis, this is called an X-intercept. And they're going to become very important in this unit. You're going to learn how they can help you graph lines. All right, so remember, this negative positive and this negative negative are the signs of the numbers in your ordered pairs. Okay? And it's going to be made up of an X coordinate and a Y coordinate. So the 3 is your X coordinate. In other words, it's the one that lines up with the X-axis. And the 7, it's a negative 7, is your Y coordinate. All right, so let's remember how to graph. So remember our Y-axis, our X-axis, and our ordered pairs, and they go XY. Remember, they go XY. So first, let's graph this first one right here. We're going to find 2 on the X-axis, and we're going to find 3 on the Y. Okay? So go up from the X-axis and then go over to the Y. So run your pencil that way, and that's where 2, 3 is. So let's do this second one. -1, 4. So first go to the x-axis and find -1, and then put your pencil up to the y-axis and find the 4. All right, let's do the third one. -3, 0. So first go to the x-axis where -3 is, and you're not going to have any movement up. So right here, knowing that y is 0, we could already tell that this was an x-intercept before we even graphed it. Okay? Also, we could tell that this one was in the first quadrant because it was positive, positive. And we could tell that this one was in the second quadrant because it was negative, positive. So here's another negative, positive. So I know this one is going to end up in the second quadrant too. So -2, 5. And here's one that's positive and then negative. So I know it's going to end up in the fourth quadrant. Because, come on, because it's positive and then negative. All right, so let's graph it. Let's make this bigger again. So 2, -1. So 2, -1. It's right there. And this one has a 0 for the x. So I know this one is going to end up being a y-intercept. Okay? So 0, 2. All right. So not only do you need to know how to graph them, you also need to know how to find a point and tell me the ordered pair. So here, let's do A right here. So first, figure out where it is even to the x-axis. So that's -4. Then figure out where it is even to the y, and that's 3. Easy. Let's do E. All right, so E right here, figure out where it is even to the x, and figure out where it is even to the y. So E is -3, 1. Remember, your ordered pairs go x, y. Don't do them in the opposite. Think alphabetical. All right, let's try D. Again, what's D even with on the x? It's even with 3. What's D even with on the y? -1. And when you're coming up with these numbers, a lot of times students mix up their positive and negatives. But think about it. Well, if this one's in the fourth quadrant right here, you should already think, okay, it's going to be positive, negative. If I'm trying to figure out this B point right here, I should be thinking they're both positive. And they are. They both line up with 2. 1, 2 on the x, and 1, 2 on the y. All right. Also, you may end up with your, so this is a linear equation. It's a line, essentially. And you don't have to know all these parts yet, but soon you'll learn this format. It's a line. And this is called a table of values. And you're going to see these table of values on your homework in your Delta Math. And some of them are going to seem really strange. But in your Delta Math, all you have to do is graph. So pick 2 points you like. Pick 2 points you can figure out, graph them, and draw your line. Don't let those table of values confuse you in your Delta Math. But here, you're going to look at the table of values, and you're going to see, okay, here are my x values, here are my y values. So what's my ordered pair? Well, -1, -6. Ordered pair is 0, -2. So I can already tell this one right here is going to be a y-intercept because my x is 0. And then my third point is 1, 2. Okay, so we are going to graph a line using those 3 points. So graph them. So -1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here is my -1, -6. So then 0, -2. Wonderful. And then 1, 2. All right, so there are my 3 points graphed. This number right here, you're going to learn is slope. This 4, this is my slope. So it's positive, so my line should rise from left to right, and it does. So let's draw a line. Whoops. Don't move around. Let's draw a line. I am struggling to draw a line. All right. So let's draw a line. I don't know if you guys could see the ruler in the video, but that's what I was struggling with. Okay. Always make sure you put arrows on it. So I'm gonna do one more. Like I said, this is your slope-intercept equation of a line. You don't have to understand what it is yet. All you're going to be looking at is your table of values. Same with your delta math. Look at your table of values, come up with 2 points. You have to graph a minimum of 2 points to be able to draw a line. So here my ordered pair is -2, -3, 0, -2. Again, that's a y-intercept. And 2, -1. All right, so let's graph them. -2, 1, 2, -3, 0, -2, and 1, 2, -1. All right, wonderful. So let's draw our line. Nice and straight. Don't draw messy, ugly lines, please. Okay. Arrows on the end. And you're all set. All right. So you try this last one and move on to your delta math, please. Don't forget to put this on your 2.1 tracker.